Mine to me. Um, if you don't mind me asking, because your previous experience, when people speak on the phone, um, rather than text, does that go against somebody? Like when law enforcement is like trying to piece together a case, if you choose to speak on the phone, does that go against you?
As far as just in general, like
In general, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
In general, would it go against you?
I I think context would matter a lot, and obviously who who's investigating and who's doing it. But generally, generally no. I think there's more value and uh, more would go against you depending on who that individual was and what kind of relationship. Like if you were calling a prostitute or something after your wife just disappeared, then obviously that's a little bit different of a story than if you're talking to your best friend. But usually I would say no. But you have to keep in mind, like we see here, they can literally mold whatever they want to make it say whatever they want. So
Yeah, yeah. That's what sparked the thought, because I was thinking, wait, they bring up the dad, they bring up these people.
mm,
It's like they're trying to make it sound like, oh, he's, rather than texting these people, he's calling these people because he wants to not be traced and not have his words come back against him. He's trying to be a mastermind like that.
mm,
That's what struck my head. I was like, wait, why would they be bringing up his call records like this? Like, I don't know.
right, right.
Yeah.
No, I think this is just trying to fill space. I think this is people that don't have anything, that are not great at their job, that are trying to fill space, honestly. But generally, generally, yeah, it's when you're in a situation, and the problem is, I mean, Matt obviously didn't know at this time that he was in this situation, so uh, I don't know.
Mm.
And Matt, maybe you did, but I don't think you had an extensive run-in with law enforcement before this, so
Never.
you wouldn't have known that. Oh shit, they're looking at my phone calls. They're looking at they're gonna have these texts, and why would you cover something up if you didn't know what was going on? I mean, that's my
They I used that phone used to be my son's phone.
okay.
Um and I had to find a phone on it, find your iPhone, and I used it all the time. I'm a parent. Where's my kid?
Yeah.
You just look at where's his phone. Well, it was still
Mm-hmm.
on there, and when she wasn't around, and it wasn't like right in the morning. I'm like, where is she? She's lost. I have to find her. She just wasn't home.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I used find my phone app to see where she was. And the Find My Phone app said that the phone was in the house, which just meant that she was around. Which was
Oh, so both you and your wife would, and your late wife would use the same phone,
No.
no,
like the son's
no,
phone. The son's phone. I mean, am
no,
I
no. I mean, she had my son's old phone. I had my phone. I had an app on
right?
my phone, and he had an app on his phone that was how to find a phone. So if you ever wanted
Gotcha.
to know
Find my
where that
iPhone. Yeah.
phone was, you just it tells you where the phone is. So when I used
Gotcha.
it, it's a way to find out where the person you're looking for is. And I
Yeah.
used it. And they're like, why would you use that Find a Phone app if you know where her phone was? Well, I didn't. I just assumed somebody
That's the
just
point
came
of
in and
using
got
the
my
app.
phone. They weaved a
Yeah.
story that was
Oh,
ridiculous.
that's actually, yeah. I see what you mean by making a case for you.
Yeah.
It's a way to find out where the phone is. So I used it, and then when the phone said the app said the phone was in the house, that meant that she was just around somewhere. She didn't get it. She wouldn't have went to that party. She wouldn't have went to like somewhere far away. Her car was still there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like, in the morning, I'm running through my morning, waiting for my wife. If you have a wife, you kind of that like I had a wife. You wait for them to come and tell you what to do. It's kind of embarrassing, but
Yeah.
that's the kind of husband I was. I'm sitting there like a
Yeah.
dummy, waiting for her to come get me, and she wouldn't. She never did. So well, where is she? I used the Find a Phone app. Well, the phone's in the house. Well, that means she's around someplace.
Right.
That's more of me not caring about where my wife is, according to Grubbs, that I didn't even care where she was. I was looking for her.
I'm surprised they argued that, because it's more likely that you're using a phone because you're kind of frantic and trying to, this person's gone missing. You're frantic. It's more likely that you're doing that than covering
frantic.
up. Oh, let me use sorry, go on.
I'm not frantic. Even after I was told to call the police, I was like, she's going to show up. But her friend Celeste is like, you should call police. And it did get weird. Like 5 p.m, her keys were home, her car was home, her phone. I'm like, all right, things are weird. I'll call the cops. But I still wasn't frantic. Something's I've forgotten something. Something's weird. And I didn't really start panicking until that dude stuck his finger in my face and said, you murdered your wife, really? And then I was like, oh my God, this is real.
I meant frantic as in you were worried, like not all over it, like like that. Not like that. But
I didn't even really go look for her like outside the house because I wasn't frantic. I mean, she was such a put together person, and she was so meticulous and so reliable and responsible. It was me. I was missing something. She told me something. I've forgotten it. She's just somewhere. So I just waited and waited and waited and waited. And they took these little things, like me using my phone to look for her instead of getting up. He's like, during his final argument, he's like, who uses their phone to look for their wife in the same, if she's in the house? Who texts a person that's in the house? Every fucking buddy does.
I do all the time.
I text the person that's in the same room as I am. I text them.
I do.
These people are so, and they would point it out, and everybody and on the jury would be like, I do. You? Yeah, I text people. I text my wife.
I was literally about to say that. I was literally about to say, oh, the prosecution is toast if the jury has ever texted someone in the house.
Yeah. I do.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just do it for your friends or family and friends, whether they're in the house?
Oh, my husband.
Yeah, so you do it. Whoever's closest to you, you just do it, don't you? I do the same. Yeah, I get it.
I'll be sitting in a doctor's office with my wife, and we'll be waiting, and we'll be looking at my phone, and I'll type a text message to her instead of talking to her, just for a joke, for a funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does.
Also,
and the prosecution knows it. They're just they would have to know it, right? I mean, how wouldn't you know that?
Yeah.
How wouldn't you know that?
No,
I just think they just.
Right, we've got the wonderful Carol